Srila Prabhupada, a founder Acharya, installed ISKCON in the year 1966. And for over 54 years, ISKCON has been striving to propagate India's Vedic knowledge, culture, and its beliefs. Through various books like Bhagavad-Gita and Bhagavatam, and over hundreds of temples across the globe. In the same line, here in Goa, we are operational since last 20 plus years, spreading various cultural and Vedic activities. We once again welcome you all for this program, Manthan 2020. Just as the topic or the title goes, Manthan, there is always a Manthan in our lives too. There's a Manthan between good and bad. There's a Manthan, there's a tussle between ups and downs in our lives. And in among all these ups and downs, all this good and evil, we have to extract the nectar and carry on in our lives so that we perfect our lives. At times, extracting this nectar is extremely difficult. At times, it's not even visible. So for this, we require teachers, we require guides, we require philosophers who will guide us in this extraction of nectar from our lives. So, for this, we have today with us Shubh Vilas, who will be giving a talk on the topic rebalancing life and explaining to us how we can extract this nectar out from life. I'll briefly give introduction of Shubh Vilas Prabhu. Shubh Vilas is a lifestyle coach, a storyteller, an author, and a TEDx speaker. He studied patent law after completing his engineering degree. After a brief stint in corporate world, he chose to leave the mainstream society to live a life of contemplation. He studied various scriptures and a Vedic text as a monk and became a spiritual seeker. Shubh Vilas spread his wisdom of his deep learning in scriptures among various individuals, corporate institutes, and government organizations around the world, exclusively based on his deep teachings and realizations from Vedic scriptures. Some of the places where he has spoke includes our defense establishments, DRDO and MHRD. He also spoke at the Jaipur Literary Festival, wherein there was an audience of almost around 1.2 million. He spoke at the Google in Silicon Valley, Amazon, Samsung, Microsoft Seattle. He also spoke at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Boston, and he also shared his learnings at the TEDx at IIM Ranchi and Delhi Technical University. Shubh Vilas has also authored various books. His book series of Ramayana is one of the national bestsellers. His writing focuses on application of scriptures and how we can use it in our day-to-day lives, which are very thought-provoking. He has delivered more than 4,000 lectures across the globe. With this brief introduction of his, without taking more time, I would like to invite Shubh Vilas on the dais so that he can enlighten us on Manthan 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, please, a round of applause. I would request everyone to please keep your mobiles on silent so that everyone can take the maximum advantage of the program. Please, once again, put your mobiles on silent mode. Also, as you all were walking in, you all must have seen this pamphlet which was distributed outside. This is a 3-day Bhagavad-Gita session which we have organized on 12th, 13th and 14th of February. This is going to cover the first 3 chapters of Bhagavad-Gita in detail. And it has a very, very thematic understanding of all 3 chapters. First chapter, the problems in our life. Second chapter, the solution given by Lord Krishna himself. And third chapter, how we're going to apply it. So this is going to be from 14th, 15th and 16th of February in the evening. It's a 3-day course covering the 3 chapters of Bhagavad-Gita. So after this, you can please register for this program. Thank you very much. Over to Shubh Vilas. Also would request parents with small kids to please take care of them so that they don't make noise, and if it happens we can just probably take them out and play out just so that everyone can get the maximum advantage of the program. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Before I start speaking, I would like to offer a few prayers. Om Ajnantimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutaha Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Shude Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarobhyascha Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. I'd like to welcome all of you today. First of all, I would like to congratulate all of you for taking out your valuable time on a Sunday evening to be here in when there are so many other options and so many other opportunities that you could have availed. Most importantly, the favorite pastime of Goa. You could have sat on your couches, watched the television with a glass in your hand, but just relaxed on a Sunday evening. So I must really congratulate all of you all for being here with us today. And I can assure you, if you really focus for the next 1 hour, this can be a life-transforming experience for all of you. Before I really begin, we would earnestly request all of you to switch off your mobile phones, because we're going on some really intense journey now. And those who don't know how to switch off their mobile phones, you can ask your neighbors. They can help you switch it off for you. I know some people are technologically challenged, you know. Today, we're going to discuss this topic, rebalancing life. Sometime back, almost a year back, I was invited to speak at Amazon in their world headquarters. And they had asked me to speak on something like this. And I was speaking to some people who are so many different backgrounds. They were Chinese there. They were people from America, people from different parts of Europe, so many people from India. And there was just completely a wide range of audiences. And after I spoke this theme on rebalancing life, everyone there felt it was very relevant for them. And now what I spoke, I'm going to speak the same thing to all of you. But the interesting thing is, no matter where you speak this, no matter which audience you speak it to, and no matter where in the world you speak it to, the scriptures, the Vedic scriptures, have immediate relevance to us in our lives. That's what makes this a very beautiful experience. Before I start speaking, I would just like to know, for my general knowledge, how many of you all here sitting in this audience have attended Manthan in 2017? Please put up your hands. Anybody here has attended Manthan 2017? Okay, wonderful. I would like to congratulate you all if you all didn't attend Manthan 2017, because that's great. That's what we wanted to achieve, and that's what we have achieved. So, I would like to start by talking about an interesting quote by Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein said, "Life is like riding a bicycle. In order to keep the right balance, you have to keep moving." A lot of people in life strongly believe in this. They believe that if I have to live life, I have to keep moving constantly. The moment I stop, I'll fall down. In a cycle, you can't stop. If you stop, you have to put your leg down, you have to get off. You can't just stop while pedaling, right? So similarly, a lot of people in life, actually all of us in life, live such fast-paced life, and we are going at such great speeds. Sometimes we don't even realize where we are going. And to help us understand a little bit about finding the direction of life, we need some help. We need a situation where we can just come and open up our hearts. India is a land of wisdom. India is a land for many things, but primarily it is a land of wisdom. One man, he found a brick of gold, completely golden. And this man was excited having this golden brick. He didn't want to lose it. You know what he did? To hide it so that nobody takes it away, he went at the back of his house, dug a hole and buried the brick. Every day in the morning he would come, dig up that hole, lift that brick and see, admire it, keep it back and close the hole. One wise man saw this guy doing it. Every day, digging this hole. So you know what he did? This wise man went a little later, removed that brick, and instead of the golden brick, he put an ordinary iron brick. So this man the next day morning came excited, dug up that place, lifted that brick, and then he was shocked when he saw that his gold brick was missing, and instead of that there was an iron brick inside. He started crying. He said, "I've lost my gold, I've lost my gold." Then this wise man came out and he said, "This is your golden brick." But he said, "For you, what difference it makes if there is a golden brick inside or an iron brick inside? You're just not using it. You're just taking it out, admiring it and giving it back in. It really doesn't make a difference." Actually, this man is all of us. So we Indians, we admire Indian culture once in a while. Whenever Diwali comes, we dig out and remove. Very good, very good. Whenever some festival comes, we dig the place and remove the golden brick, which is our Vedic culture, and admire it. Very good, very good. Once in a while, we get WhatsApp messages. Somebody really tells about the glory of India. We admire it, and that's all. The question is, the culture that we are sitting in, the knowledge, the wisdom that we really have access to, unless and until we actually utilize it and make it a part of our life, it remains a golden brick. So for many of you sitting here who are very much connected with the Vedic culture, and we are proud of that Vedic culture, we may feel, wow, we are part of such a great heritage. But what's the point in being part of the heritage if you don't know to utilize that heritage? And that is what this session is all about. Who were living in a building, and they were living on the 100th floor of the building. So one day they came to their the building. They went to the elevator. There was a notice that said elevator not working. They were living on the 100th floor. So all the four of them, they decided anyway, we have to reach up. So they were telling stories to each other in climbing. By the time they reached the 100th floor, they were like exhausted. But finally they made it. So finally they reached their 100th floor. They reached their apartment, and that's when they realized they forgot the key below. Imagine reaching the 100th floor and understanding they forgot the key. Crisis. The reality is that this is the story of all of us. We are all climbing the staircase to success. We are all climbing the ladder to success, and only when we reach the pinnacle of success we realize we have forgotten the key to happiness below. So many people at the peak of their success, they have achieved everything that life can offer them. They have achieved success beyond comprehension, but not happy. Internally, completely hollow and dissatisfied. Do you find people who are beggars on the street committing suicide? Do you find people who are lame, who don't have limbs, handicapped, committing suicide? No. You only find the people who are the most successful in terms of beauty, in terms of business, in terms of education, in so many ways. The most successful people are the ones who are committing suicide. Why? That means they have achieved what externally we call success, but somewhere while achieving the success, they have not achieved what is called happiness. And therefore, we need to really understand what is the definition of success. For a lot of people, the definition of success means the ability to spend money. One time I was giving a seminar like this, and I asked, what do you think is the definition of success? One person said, if I can spend as much money as I want, that's success. So for a lot of people, life is all about being successful in that way. But as I said, for most people, this definition of success itself is such a hollow definition. In my childhood, we used to have a group of friends we used to play different games with. And there was one boy who was really naughty. This guy, he had a very interesting way of playing games. Whatever games we would play, chess, carom, cricket, any game that we would play, when he would be almost on the verge of losing, he will throw everything. We'll say, we'll start again. He would never want to lose because he just felt that I want to always win. And when he was about to lose, we'll just throw everything. And that's exactly what happens to us in our lives. So for a lot of people, they have a definition of what success means. What we call as success symbols. For somebody, having a BMW E-Class or something might be the symbol of success. A Mercedes D-Class, And people work so hard to achieve these cars. Accumulating 90 lakh rupees is not a joke. And they feel that if only I have this car, then I am really successful. Work really hard, intensely, and finally they buy this car. The day they buy this car, a new model gets launched. People buy the iPhone, intensely working hard, buy iPhone 7. And then there's iPhone 8 that comes. And then you work hard, you buy iPhone 8. Then there's iPhone 11 that comes. Where does it end? So that means the whole idea, the definition of success, when we base it on certain symbols, certain things, and we feel that if I achieve this, then I'm successful. When that thing itself changes, the definition of success changes. And therefore, the question is, if we really want to be successful, what is that key to happiness? that is many times missing in our lives. Unless and until we find that key, no matter how successful you are on an external level, you will never be satisfied on an internal level. There is a very interesting quote that I heard some time back that really touched my heart. And I feel this quote has some secret to what we are talking about. This quote says, how rich you are is indicated by how many things you have that money can't buy. Let me repeat it. How rich you are is defined by how many things you have that money can't buy. Money can buy a lot of things. Money can buy so many things in this world. But there are few things that money cannot buy. One of that is contentment. One of that is love. One of that is peace. One of that is satisfaction. So the question is, if you really study and look at some of the most successful people in this world, they have a lot of things that money can't buy, but happiness and satisfaction in life comes from so many things that money can't buy. And unfortunately, those are the things that cannot be purchased by anything else. And therefore, the question is, where does happiness lie? To help us understand this question, where does happiness lie, I'm going to share a concept from the Gita, from the Bhagavad-Gita. People always have the wrong equation of happiness. For a lot of people, what happiness is unfortunately not understood only. So therefore, we need to really spend time in understanding what exactly happiness is. What is the concept of happiness? There are two places in this world where there is unlimited happiness available. There are only two places in this world where there is unlimited happiness available. The first place where there is unlimited happiness available, that is in the spiritual world. We call it Golok Vrindavan. And the second place where there is unlimited happiness available is in imagination. Everywhere else, there is limited happiness available. Let's just take an example. For example, if you are passing by a Rolls-Royce showroom or a Ferrari car showroom, or a Porsche car showroom, when you pass by these showrooms and you see these beautiful, shining, effulgent cars, suddenly a thought comes in your mind that this is what imagination is. The thought comes in your mind, if only I had this car, what an experience it would be. Driving this car and everyone around me is just looking at me only and they're feeling so envious. And what a smooth experience of a drive it will be, So as long as that thought is an imagination, it's great. The feeling is great and the experience of joy is great. But when that thought becomes a reality, that's when the problems begin. I had a friend who bought a brand new BMW car. And this guy, he was like so excited that he bought this brand new BMW car. And he called me for a test drive and I went with him. I loved the experience and he was so happy about it. A week later, I was going somewhere. I was in a taxi and I just, in a traffic signal, I just peeped outside the taxi. The next taxi my friend was sitting, I asked him, hey, where is your BMW car? This guy, what he said? He said, don't tell me about it. He said, when I drive the BMW in the streets of Mumbai, it's a horror. Because these taxi guys are zooming from all directions, These bike guys are zooming from all directions. They have no botheration and they don't care for what I'm experiencing. But as I'm driving that car, my heart is in my mouth. One guy scratches my car and goes, I have to pay thousands of rupees over there, And more than that, it's easy to buy a car in Mumbai, but difficult to park the car. There are no parking places practically. And more than that, you, in some places in India, I'm sure in so many other countries also, you come back, you park your car somewhere, you go and do your work and come back, you find the car is there exactly where it was, but the 4 tires are missing. What will you do with the car when you don't have the 4 tires? So there are people who can harass you, literally, So as long as that experience is an imagination, you're imagining that I'm driving this brand new BMW car, it's wow, great. But when that imagination turns into reality, the reality is not so great. A young boy and girl falling in love, and they are imagining what their married life will be. As long as this imagination is great, but the day they get married, the reality sets in. I can see the laughter. Everybody has already experienced it, right? So this idea of happiness is something we need to explore from what Krishna is speaking to us in the Gita. So Krishna, in a very beautiful verse in the Bhagavad-Gita, defines what happiness is. He says, Yehi samsparshaja bhoga. So to explain what this sentence means, he says, he uses the word sparsha. Sparsha means touch. So when your skin comes in touch with anything, that is known as sparsha. So essentially what he's talking about is not just skin touching something, he's talking about senses touching sense objects. It could be the skin touching something soft. It could be the ears hearing something melodious. It could be the nose, nostrils, smelling something pleasant. It could be the tongue tasting something divine. It could be the what else? The eyes seeing something beautiful. So whenever the senses come in touch with sense objects, that is known as sparsha. So what Krishna says, Yehi samsparsha ja. Ja means born. What is born? Bhoga. Bhoga means enjoyment. So that means when senses come in touch with sense objects, it creates an experience of enjoyment. It creates an experience of pleasure. But this pleasure has one problem. Krishna says, Yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukkha yoneva evate. He says, the problem with this kind of pleasure is that it is the source of misery. Which kind of pleasure? The pleasure where senses come in touch with sense objects. Now Krishna here explains 3 reasons why such pleasure is a source of misery. The first reason is, so basically he says, Adi Antavanta Kaunteya. So he says, why our experiences of senses come in touch with sense objects is a source of misery. The first reason, he says, material things have a beginning and an end. Adi Anta. So what is the meaning of beginning and an end? That means there is an end to all the things that give us pleasure. Let me give you an example which is more contextual. One thing I've found, whichever audience I've spoken to across the world, one thing I've found, if I give example of food, it connects very well. People really open up to that example, So I give often examples of food, because it relates to our day-to-day life easily. So imagine I give you a gulab jamun in your hand. Round, soft, golden brown, dripping, sweet looking gulab jamun. Imagine all of you holding that gulab jamun in your hand. And you take the gulab jamun and you are about to bite it. It's a great experience, right? Euphoria, excitement. And imagine the first gulab jamun and you are about to bite it. It's a great experience, right? euphoria, excitement. And imagine the first bite you take into the gulab jamun. The sweetness just bursts in your mouth. Exciting, it's so fun, it's amazing. I don't guarantee this gulab jamun outside today for prasad. I don't know what's there for prasad. I'm just giving an example. So imagine the experience of pleasure that you get when you bite into the first gulab jamun. It's great. When you take the second bite of the gulab jamun, is the pleasure exactly same as the first bite? It's gone down a little bit. You take the third bite, the pleasure has gone down even more. By the time you finish the gulab jamun, the pleasure is not exactly the same as the first bite. Imagine you're biting the second gulab jamun, the first bite of the second gulab jamun. Is the pleasure same as the first bite of the first gulab jamun? No, it's quite low. Imagine you're eating the 10th gulab jamun. What happens? You're frustrated already. So what begins with pleasure ends in misery. Adi antavanta kaunteya. The same thing with relationships. When it begins, it's exciting, it's fun, it's so much pleasure. But when the same relationship ends, when people go through these divorce cases, it's so intense, it's so negative, it's so painful. Friday evening, when your office gets over and you have a Saturday, Sunday off, imagine the excitement on a Friday evening, It's really fun. Saturday, Sunday is all free. And imagine what happens on a Monday morning. The experience of pleasure that began on a Friday evening is just gone. It's finished. So, the first problem with happiness of this sort, senses coming in touch with sense object, is it has a beginning, it has an end. The second problem is that there will always be something or someone to make your experience of happiness miserable. There will always be somebody like that. One time, I was speaking about this concept of Bhagavad-Gita with somebody. And this man, he was talking about how his life is great. And he was telling me about how he has the best wife in the world, the best kids in the world, how he has the best job in the world, the best boss in the world, the best salary in the world, the best car in the world, the best house in the world. He was going on and on and on talking about all the best things in his life. And as he was talking, I was wondering, something seems wrong here. It doesn't seem, like what Bhagavad-Gita is describing. And then finally, after half an hour talking about all the great things in his life, he said, but. The moment he said that but, I realized, Bhagavad-Gita is right, perfectly right. And then he said, but my mother-in-law. And then he was speaking about how this one person in his life has made his life so miserable. That is, everything what he has, the best of things, he just cannot enjoy. Why? One person is enough to make the life experience miserable. All of us sitting in this hall have at least one person in our life who has come down only to make our life miserable. Again, I'm sure all of you will agree to that. For some people it's really so bad, they have multiple people. So, the first reason why the experience of happiness is not that great is because first, it has a beginning and an end. The second is that there will always be something or someone to spoil our experience of happiness. And the third reason is that the contact of the senses with the sense objects, that contact, that pleasure, it can never reach the heart. It can only reach the mind. At best, it can reach the mind. It can never really touch the heart. The satisfaction and fulfillment comes only in experiences where you actually feel touched in the heart. The primary need of the heart is the need to be loved. Now, the question is, where does really the experience of happiness lie? Krishna ends this verse by the last statement. So he begins by saying, Yehi samsparshaja bhoga dukkha yoneyo evate adi antavanta kaunteya. The last sentence he says is, Na teshu ramate buddha. Na teshu ramate buddha. And I'll explain to you what is the meaning of this sentence. The word Ramana means pleasure. So essentially what Krishna is trying to tell is, don't look for pleasure outside, look for pleasure inside. There are two words in Sanskrit. The first word is called Sukha, and the second word is Ananda. Sukha means happiness. Apparently in English, Ananda also means happiness. But in Sanskrit, we talk about two different levels of happiness. The definition of Sukha is the gap between two miseries. I'm miserable now, and 10 minutes later I'm miserable again. And the gap between those two miseries, what I experience is known as Sukha. So you ask people in that gap, how are you? They will say, I'm happy. Actually, what they mean is that I'm in the gap between two miseries. Right now I'm miserable. 10 minutes later I'm miserable. In between, if you ask me, I'll say I'm happy. Unfortunately, this experience of happiness depends on external situations, external circumstances, things outside. And if things are not conducive, I'm not happy. And unfortunately, for most people in this world, our experience of happiness is only this. This is not a stopgap happiness. But what Ananda means, Ananda doesn't depend on external things. Ananda doesn't depend on external circumstances. Ananda depends on the state of mind. What we call as internal happiness. It's called as bliss. Krishna here calls it as Na teshu ramate buddha. Don't look for happiness in external things. Happiness is a state of mind. To help us understand this, let me tell you a story. When I was studying engineering, we were sitting in a canteen eating samosas. So 3-4 friends of ours, we were eating samosas and we were talking about how this is one of the best samosas in the world. And we were like really so excited and happy eating those samosas. And while we were eating those samosas and enjoying the taste of it, one boy comes running and he says, results declared. The samosas in our hand, half-eaten samosas. But none of us had the guts to eat more, We were like tensed. When that guy told me that I have cleared all my papers, I got distinction, so I continued eating samosas. They were the best samosas still, And then the other guy was sitting next to me. So he was told, 4 wickets down. Failed in both objects, And this guy, that same samosa, which was tasting so good till now, suddenly started tasting stale. Has the taste of the samosa changed? No. What has changed? The state of his mind. So the whole idea of happiness is about how do you deal with your mind. And therefore, for us to be able to live life happily, we need to really understand that the mind can turn heaven into hell and the mind can turn hell into heaven. That's the power of the mind. And therefore, while we understand this concept, we really have to meditate on this concept. Because if you understand this nicely, the way you look at life can change completely. And this is the Bhagavad-Gita. And this is how Bhagavad-Gita can actually impact our lives so deeply. Imagine you're sitting for a meal, somebody's invited you for dinner, and you're sitting and excited, waiting for the meal to come, and then somebody brings you a plate of amazingly cooked items, all cooked in ghee and looking so delicious, and they put it in front of you, and they say, "Kha le, tera baap ka kya jata hai?" What do you think? Will you be really excited about eating it? Obviously, some people maybe don't care, quite shapeless about it. But most people, they won't touch it. Why? Because the idea of happiness is very much connected to the state of your mind. And therefore, for a lot of people, we give the remote control of our life to somebody else to control. Somebody presses a button, we cry. Somebody presses another button, we laugh. So practically, we have given the remote control of the most important aspect of our life to somebody else, or to life situations. Why should we give the remote control of our life to somebody else? Why should we allow life situations to dictate to us how we should feel and how we should behave? And therefore, the Bhagavad-Gita teaches us a concept of happiness which is much deeper than what we ever can experience in this world. Success arrives when you learn to make the best of what you have. Happiness is a function of the mindset. Let me tell you another story. One time, there was a small boy who wanted to have a holiday from school. So this boy, he came back in the afternoon and he got with him 3 sheep. And he numbered the 3 sheep. He put the number 1 on the first sheep, he put the number 2 on the second sheep, and he put number 4 on the third sheep. And he sent the 3 sheep into the school. He went back home. Next day morning, when the cleaners came, they saw all over there was sheep litter. They started running around to find these 3 sheep, and they found number 1, number 2, and number 4. And they were in anxiety. Where is the number 3 sheep that is missing? They ran around the whole school trying to find the number 3 sheep. They just couldn't find it. They declared a holiday, emergency. One sheep is roaming around the school. What were they trying to find? They were trying to find the number 3 sheep that didn't exist. All of us are like these people. We are all trying to find a number 3 sheep that doesn't exist in our life. In the process of trying to find the number 3 sheep that doesn't exist, we forget to enjoy the 1, 2, and 4 that already exists. Every man is looking at neighbor's wife, thinking if she was my wife, I would be so happy. Every woman is looking at somebody else, thinking that if that person was my husband, I would be so happy. Nobody seems to be happy with what they have. You go to a hotel and you order some food to eat, and the food that arrives on your plate, on your table, the food that is on the neighbor's table always seems more exciting than the food on your table, no matter what you order. So somehow the human mind has a nature to remain dissatisfied with what it has and look for satisfaction in what it doesn't have. And the way it does it is by doing what is known as unhealthy comparisons. So we tend to compare ourselves with others. We tend to compare ourselves with people around us. We tend to compare ourselves with the world around us. When a child is born, when a baby is born, many times, mothers and fathers, just born children, they come to, bring the child to me. And one of the first questions they ask me is, whom does the child look like, mother or father? Comparison begins there. I tell them, the child neither looks like father nor like mother, the child is unique. Unless and until we find uniqueness in each of us, we can never come out of this comparative mentality. Each one of us is created unique by God. The more we compare ourselves with others, the more frustrated we get. Essentially, when we compare, what we're doing is that we're comparing our weakness with somebody else's strength. Or we're comparing our strength with somebody else's weakness. How can you compare 2 different elements? You cannot, and you should not. Ideally, human beings should learn to be satisfied with what they have and not hanker for what they don't have. Which is why it is so important to accept the realities of life. Acceptance makes you emotionally tranquil, and non-acceptance makes you emotionally agitated. When you accept something, you immediately become peaceful. It's called positive emotion. And when you don't accept something, you get agitated, emotionally tranquil. And non-acceptance makes you emotionally agitated. When you accept something, you immediately become peaceful. It's called positive emotion. And when you don't accept something, you get agitated. We need to align our expectations with the realities of life. Usually, our expectations are so high and the realities of life are so low. And there's a big gap between expectation and reality. The bigger the gap between expectation and reality, the more there is stress, the more there is frustration, and the more there is misery. The more we align our expectation with the realities of life, the more there is peace, and the more there is tranquility in our life. Today, the way the media industry is designed, it makes your expectations skyrocket. When you look at the television advertisements, when you look at all the movies, when you look at all the billboards around, what do you see? You always see perfection. Do you see movies or ads where imperfect people are there? No. You will always see perfect people on the screen. But in reality, do you see perfect people? In reality, you only see imperfection around you. When you look at yourself in the mirror, can you see perfection anywhere? You can never see perfection in the mirror. Why? The reality is the reality. So imperfection is a part of life. So when you keep looking for perfection, when you keep looking at perfection all around you, you start expecting perfection around you. You look at relationships, perfect love stories. The reality, imperfect love stories. You look at people, perfectly handsome, beautiful men and women. Reality, absolutely imperfect men and women. On television, you find advertisements of Fair and Lovely. And young girls putting Fair and Lovely and they suddenly become so fair. And there are girls who put kilos and kilos of Fair and Lovely. Nothing happens, Nothing really happens. So, the more you start, looking at a world that is imaginary, very far from reality, a world that is only perfection, it takes you very far away from the realities of life. So what we need to do is start accepting the realities of life. Acceptance makes you emotionally tranquil, and non-acceptance makes you emotionally agitated. One time, there was an elephant, and this elephant wanted to participate in a running race. So there was an Olympic competition of all animals in the jungle. This elephant also participated. Went to running race straight. And there was a cheetah, tiger, deer, rabbit, so many animals running. Guess who won? What is it? Guess who won? Huh? The cheetah won. See, small girl said, cheetah won. Cheetah won. The elephant felt so sad. Cheetah won. So the elephant said, next year I'm going to win anyhow. 1 year, the elephant went through jogging practices, weight loss programs, and whatnot. And the next year, the elephant participated in the running race again. Guess who won? Cheetah won. The elephant went into depression permanently. If only the elephant had participated in the wrestling competition, or it had participated in a weightlifting competition, there was no other animal that could have won. But this guy wanted to win a running race only. Acceptance makes you emotionally tranquil. Non-acceptance makes you emotionally agitated. When something happens not in the way I want it to happen, if I accept it, it is known as tolerance. If I don't accept it, it turns into anger. When there is some uncertainty in life, like for example, whenever there is some uncertainty usually causes fear. If you don't accept that uncertainty, it is known as fear. But if you accept that uncertainty, it's not known as fear, it is known as adventure. Bungee jumping. So much uncertainty. No guarantee you'll reach down alive. But you accept that uncertainty, what it is known as adventure. When someone has something that we don't have, or someone is able to achieve more than me, if I accept it, it is known as inspiration. Nobody is, or if I don't accept it, it is known as envy. I have not seen anybody who is envious of Sachin Tendulkar. Too big to be envious of, you know. But you will get envious of somebody who is playing cricket with you. You know. So when you accept something, it becomes inspiration. But when you don't accept something, it becomes envy. If someone has hurt you and you're not able to accept it, it is known as hatred. But the moment you accept it, it is known as forgiveness. So essentially, when anything is handled with acceptance, it is a positive emotion. And when anything is handled with non-acceptance, it's a negative emotion. And therefore, for us to really be peaceful in life, we have to learn to develop positivity in life. Developing positivity is not an option, it's a compulsion. One time, there was a man that came to a big audience and he told everyone, I'm going to tell you a joke. And everybody was eager to hear the joke. This guy said, there was a man named Luigi. He was celebrating his 50th anniversary. And everyone wanted to know, what is the secret of your long-lasting marriage? Luigi said, the secret of my long-lasting marriage is that I'm kind to my wife, I'm respectful to her. When we were celebrating our 20th anniversary, I took her to Rome. And now when we are celebrating our 50th anniversary, I'm going to get her back. Good secret, long-lasting marriage. So now people laugh. After a minute, this guy, he repeated the same joke again. He said there was a man named Luigi. He was celebrating his 50th anniversary. Everyone wanted to know what the secret of his long-lasting. Went on and on, same joke again. People who didn't understand first time laughed the second time. After a minute, he cracked the same joke again, third time. There was a man named Luigi. He was celebrating his 50th anniversary. People are wondering what's wrong with this guy, you know. Fourth time, same joke again. Fifth time, same joke again. By now people are frustrated, they're pulling their hair, they want to beat him up. And then this guy, he made one statement that really hit them hard. He said, if we don't laugh over the same joke again and again, why do we cry over the same misery again and again? When it comes to problems of life, we love to speak about it. And we love to repeat it. In fact, everyone who comes into our life that day will catch that fellow and tell, you know what happened to me? Same problem. Again and again, again and again, again and again. You think the problem is going to solve if you keep repeating it again and again? No. So similarly, the idea of life and life situations, we think we don't have something, we keep crying again and again. We think we are missing something, we cry again and again. The idea of developing positivity is to help us understand that in every negative situation of life, there is a seed of positivity in it. When Lord Ram was asked to leave to the forest for 14 years, he was banished from the kingdom of Ayodhya. Mother Kaikeyi, when she told him that you have to go, into the forest, most people, if they were in Ram's place, they would have felt so bad. One moment back, he's supposed to be the king of the country. One moment later, gone. Maharashtra, recently it happened, People experienced it also. So, imagine what Ram would have felt. When Kaikeyi told him that, you know what he said? He said, I have been waiting for such an opportunity. He said, I always wanted to go and learn from the sages in the forest. These 14 years are not 14 years of exile, but they're 14 years of upgradation. He didn't look at it as 14 years of banishment. He said it's 14 long years for me to learn. Look at this big difference. When crows attack eagles, this group of crows sometimes attack eagles. Eagle is so huge, crows are so small comparatively. And where's the question that crows can defeat an eagle? But still they attack the eagle. You know what the eagle does when the crows attack them? the eagle never fights back. Why? Below his dignity to fight back with the crows. You know what the eagle does? He just flies higher. He flies so high, the crows can't reach only there. What they will do? Negativity in life is like these crows. It keeps attacking us all the time. The problem with us is that we try to fight back. The problem with us is that we try to show that I can win against you. What Gita advises us is fly higher. Fly much higher than what negativity can deal with you. But negativity can't touch you at that height. And therefore, when we really learn to embrace change gracefully, change doesn't become painful. Change becomes much easier to accept and much easier to deal with. So there are two ways to deal with negativity that comes into our life. One way to deal with negativity is to fight it. The other way to deal with negativity is to learn to deal with it differently. Let me tell you a story from the Ramayana. If you just hear this story and you meditate on this story, it can change your life completely. It is one of the most powerful stories of the Ramayana that you can hear. The story is when Ram, Lakshmana and Sita, they were in the forest and the golden deer comes into their life. So when the golden deer comes, Mother Sita looks at the golden deer, she says, I want it. She tells Ram, please get me the golden deer. Ram tells her, I'll get it. He takes Lakshman, tells Lakshman, take care of her. I'm going to come back. Ram leaves. So as soon as Ram leaves, he's running behind the golden deer. At some point, the golden deer, so Ram comes to know this is not a golden deer, it's a demon named Marich. So he shoots an arrow. And the arrow hits the golden deer. And Marich, in the voice of Ram, just before he dies, in the voice of Ram, shouts out loudly calling Sita and Lakshman for help. He dies. In the meanwhile, here Sita hears the voice of Ram and she tells Lakshman, oh, your brother needs help. Lakshman is cool. He said, no, don't worry, my brother doesn't need help. So he's saying, didn't you hear? This is Ram's voice. He needs your help. Lakshman tells her it's not Ram's voice. It's the demon who is speaking in the voice of Ram. Now Sita is concerned about Ram. Lakshman is confident about Ram. So Sita pushes Lakshman. You have to go. Lakshman tells her, don't worry. Finally, Sita, she speaks something that really hurts Lakshman. She tells him, I know why you're not going. She says, you have been waiting for an opportunity when Ram goes away so that you can enjoy me. Imagine Sita doubts his character. Lakshman feels so bad. Now, this section of the story of the Ramayana happens after 13 years of their exile. For 13 long years, Lakshman has sacrificed so much. He sacrificed his comforts, he sacrificed the company of his wife, he sacrificed all the luxuries of the palace, sacrificed everything for just these two people. He has not even slept one night. All night he has been guarding them. And it's not that he was sleeping all day. He was not doing a call center job. All day he was serving them. Look at the amount of sacrifice he has done for 13 years. After that, Sita is doubting his character. So Lakshman tells her, I'm going. And he tells her, when I come back, I'm sure you won't be here. Lakshman leaves. And when Lakshman reaches Ram, Ram asks him, what are you doing here? I told you to guard Sita. Why did you come here? And then they come back, find Sita is missing. Ram starts blasting him. He says, you are useless. I told you only one thing to do. You can't do that also. You have no competence. Imagine. The two people he gave his life to, two people he gave his youth to, two people he gave the best years of his life to, one is doubting his character, one is doubting his competence. If your character and competence is doubted, will you continue to work in that organization? Nobody will. If anybody else was in Lakshman's place, they would have said, hell with both of you, I'm going back to Ayodhya. I packed his bag and gone back. But Lakshman doesn't. Lakshman, in fact, after that also continues serving. The question is, when we are all put in situations like Lakshman, 30 years of relationship can get destroyed in 30 seconds if you don't know what Lakshman did and how he did it. Lakshman did what I call as press the pause button. When Sita spoke those words, he pressed the pause button and he asked himself a question. The question that he asked himself was, does she really mean what she spoke? The answer that he got from within was no. Her concern for Ram, she spoke. The answer that he got from within was no. Her concern for Ram is coming out in the form of those words. And when Ram spoke those words, again he pressed the pause button. And he asked himself the same question. Does he mean what he spoke? And the answer that he got was no. His concern for Sita is coming out in the form of those words. Now, when it comes to all of us, when somebody speaks something like that to us, what to speak of pressing the pause button and all, we don't know where the remote control is. We take out our sword and start slashing straight away. As I said, 30 years of relationship can get destroyed in 30 seconds if you don't know how to press that pause button. Now, to help you understand this even deeper, you have to understand Lakshman's character a little more. Lakshman in the Ramayana was an angry young man. At the drop of the hat, he would get angry. When Dasharath told his brother to leave Ayodhya, he got so angry, he wanted to kill his own father. Imagine. He would get angry all the time. But this time, these two instances, when he was actually supposed to get angry, why he didn't get angry? How he didn't get angry? One thought helped him press that pause button. One thought helped him deal with his anger, frustration, and negativity. The same one thought can help all of us, especially when it comes to the most important relationships of life. When some stranger insults us, the pain is not so much. But the person whom we love the most insults us, the pain is the hardest to deal with. The one thought that helped Lakshman to press the pause button was a thought of gratitude. He was thinking, Ram has deposited 40 years of love in this relationship and he has made one withdrawal. Should I forget to be grateful for the 40 years of love and focus on that one mistake that he made? And Sita spoke those words again, the same thought of gratitude. Sita has deposited 25 years of love in this relationship. Should I forget to be grateful for the 25 years of love that she has given and focus on this one negativity, one mistake that she has made? This one thought of gratitude helped Lakshman press the pause button. He did what I call as respond. One time, there was a lady. I'm telling you another story. So now I told you a scriptural story, which is intense. But I'm going to tell you another story, which is a modern, regular, day-to-day story, which is exactly the same thing, right? But you see it in your context. When I'm talking about Lakshman and Sita and all, it's like all seems to be strange, One time there was a lady who was in a mall and her daughter, she was crying like mad. Crying, feeling so much noise. This lady is looking at that girl and she's telling her, Jennifer, relax. The girl is crying more and more. This lady is saying, Jennifer, don't create a scene over here, relax. The daughter is crying even more intensely. She's saying, Jennifer, don't create a scene over here, please relax. There was an old man who was observing this whole conversation. The old man walks up to this lady and he tells her, Ma'am, don't you think you're talking a language that is too adult-like? Why don't you talk a more child-friendly language? This lady looks at him and she tells him, what makes you think I'm talking to her? Jennifer is my name. I'm telling myself, Jennifer, relax. There are a lot of situations in life where we can't do anything about how others behave, what others say, how others deal with us. What we can do is something about how we behave, or how we react, or how we respond to it. So a lot of times in our life, we need to remember, we need to start communicating with ourselves. The quality of the communication of the world outside leads to success. But the quality of my communication of the world inside leads to happiness. If you really want to be happy in our lives, start communicating with yourself. So the next time you're standing in a line and somebody jumps over and goes ahead, tell yourself, Jennifer, relax. Next time, you want to use the washroom and your family member is not coming out only. You tell yourself, Jennifer, relax. Next time you go to a restaurant and you are waiting for a meal to come and the waiter just is not coming, you go to the hotel so that you have a good time with your family. But what we end up doing over there on that table is looking at that door when the fellow is going to come. Tell yourself, Jennifer, relax. And then finally he comes out and goes and gives the order to the next table. Tell yourself, Jennifer, relax. So the more we communicate with the word inside, the more happier we are. And therefore, the idea of happiness is very much connected to what we call as private victory. So we began by talking about public victory. We began by talking about the definition of success that the world gives you. Whether it is a particular type of car, whether it is having a house in a particular place in Margao, whether it is having a particular type of salary and bank balance. That is what we call as public victory. In fact, the entire world is aimed at running towards public victory. But public victory is very funny. I'll tell you 3 statements which define what public victory is. People spend money that they don't have. How they spend money they don't have? Credit cards, loans. So people spend money that they don't have to buy things that they don't need. This is called the unnecessary necessities of life. So people spend money that they don't have to buy things that they don't need and to impress people they don't like. Isn't that true? That's the reality of life. This is what we call as public victory. The world thinks you are victorious. But the idea of balancing comes when we balance that need of a public victory with the need for private victory. Private victory means the world doesn't know about it, but you know about it. And that's what is a sense of contentment. And that's what the whole sense of redefining our inner achievements is. So, as I said in the beginning, how happy you are is determined by how many things you have that money can't buy. So if you spend enough time in trying to do something that brings us what is known as private victory, you will feel really satisfied and happy in your life. Each and every one of us have to spend certain amount of money, certain amount of energy and time developing what is known as private victory. The whole purpose of organizing Manthan is to help you understand that yes, you need to be victorious on a public level also, but more importantly, you need to be victorious on a private level. What are you doing about it? Our life is at 4 levels. We call this as the 4 Qs of life. The first Q is known as PQ, which means physical quotient. Health, fitness, diet, exercise, sleep, cleanliness, all that is what physical quotient is about. We're very good at it. We don't need more education on this. In fact, the whole world is teaching us this mainly. All the advertisements, all the marketing, everything that happens in this world is about PQ. The second quotient is known as IQ, intellectual quotient. Our entire education system is oriented towards helping us develop a good IQ. Upgradation knowledge, gaining knowledge. The whole world is running towards. And then there is so much information available nowadays. Google Baba has answers to all your questions, Most people feel so intelligent when they have Google in their hand, So basically, PQ and IQ are important aspects of life. But more important than PQ and IQ is what is known as EQ. EQ is emotional quotient. I'm often invited to the Indian Institute of Management, IIMs, to give talks, lectures. I'm a visiting faculty in a couple of management institutes. And one of the courses that I do on leadership is on emotional intelligence. And I begin that course by telling something that really hits them hard. You know, when I begin the course by telling them, I tell them, talent is one of the most useless things you can have in life. I'm speaking to IIM students, most talented people in India. I begin the course by telling them that talent is one of the most useless things you can have in life. Because talent can give you so much. But when it comes across problems of life that talent cannot solve, that's when you fall in trouble. There was a young couple that came to me. Highly talented. Husband was a IIT, IIM. Somebody who's an IIT, IIM in India is almost like a demigod only, And the wife is passed out from ISB, Hyderabad, one of the most reputed management institutes. Very educated people. And 6 months after their marriage, this lady is telling me, I can't live with this guy. So I said, what happened? She's saying, for this man, everything is an Excel sheet. I said, what do you mean by everything is an Excel sheet? She's telling me, whatever I do for him, he writes it down in Excel sheet. If I smile at his mother, he writes it down. He smiles at my mother and puts a tick. If I get him a gift, he writes it down. He gets me a gift and puts a tick. She said, I can't live with somebody like this. For everything in an Excel sheet. For a lot of people who have invested heavily on their IQ development and PQ development, unfortunately have not invested in EQ development. Emotional quotient. Emotional quotient is your ability to deal with people, deal with relationships, deal with problems and situations in life, how to balance success and how to deal with failures. Success should not enter your head and failure should not enter your heart. People who are highly successful, they become arrogant, and people who are super failures, they become depressed. Both are bad. Emotional quotient is about the ability to balance the two. There are some people whose emotional quotient is very highly developed. Like there was one fellow who was studying in IIT, and this guy, he used to always come first rank in his class. One time he got second rank, committed suicide straight. Straight died. In the same class there was another fellow. 10 years, same class. Not passing out only. So somebody asked him, "Arey, this fellow committed suicide because he got second rank. You should have shame, at least pass out from his class." He said, my philosophy is very simple in life. My philosophy is, getting into IIT is my problem. Getting me out of IIT is IIT's problem. As I said, some people's EQ is very highly developed. You put the level of shamelessness practically. So we should invest good amount of time in developing EQ also. But most importantly, we need to develop good amount of time developing what is known as SQ. What is SQ? SQ is spiritual quotient, which is what we call as ethics, which is what we call as integrity. Spiritual quotient is about your ability to deal with crisis, your ability to deal with life situations. For most people in life, these four quotients are unbalanced. Their PQ and IQ are heavily developed, but your EQ and SQ is very underdeveloped. There is a disease known as macrodactyly. For those who are doctors will understand this. Macrodactyly is a disease where one limb of your body grows big. Sometimes the thumb can grow so big. Sometimes the head only grows so big. Sometimes the ears grow so big, It's known as macrodactyly. When your body is symmetrically developed, it looks good. But if one limb of the body gets developed heavily, it looks odd. That's what these four Qs is about. We need to be developed in all the four Qs. But usually what happens, we are either developed heavily in PQ or we developed heavily in IQ. And we are super underdeveloped in SQ. Super underdeveloped in EQ. What happens? It makes a person very odd, unbalanced. There was a lady who had a parrot, a talking parrot. And this talking parrot was so amazing, she loved it. So to keep the talking parrot, she bought a golden cage. Beautiful golden cage. Invested a huge amount of money in buying a golden cage. But interestingly, she loved the golden cage more than the parrot. And she started polishing the golden cage. Every day she would spend hours polishing the golden cage. And inside that golden cage, the parrot is shouting like anything for food. She is not bothered only about that parrot. Polishing the golden cage like anything. Finally, the parrot dies. When the parrot dies, what is the use of the cage now? The cage itself becomes useless. All of us are like this old lady. We are busy polishing the golden cage, this physical existence, the physical body, which is what we call as PQ. Exercise, jogging, diet, this, that, sleep. We are doing so much for polishing the golden cage. I know so many people spend hours in front of the mirror. Hours and hours, in front of the mirror, polishing the golden cage. And then inside there is a parrot that is crying. The parrot is screaming, yelling. It takes sometimes the form of loneliness, sometimes it takes the name of depression, sometimes it takes the name of anxiety. So many different ways it manifests the loneliness of the golden parrot, of the talking parrot. But unfortunately, we're so busy polishing the golden cage, we just don't have time for the parrot inside. And therefore, the idea of balance is about trying to somehow or the other bring this golden cage into understanding that the golden cage is just an external thing. That's not the most important thing. The important thing is the parrot that is within us. Today, the purpose of Manthan is to help you understand that beyond the golden cage is a parrot. Beyond our external PQ and IQ existence there is an EQ and SQ that is struggling for development. We have given so much attention to the PQ and IQ. Why don't we spend some time learning to understand how to develop our EQ and SQ? The purpose of Manthan is to help us revive that desire to develop SQ, the knowledge for SQ. One time, we were driving in a car. We were going from Mumbai to, I think Pune it was. And this was late in the night, beyond midnight. The four of us in the car and a driver. And none of us knew the way actually. And those were the times when there was no GPRS and all that stuff. So as we were going, we reached a point where there was a diversion. Either you take a left or you take a right. And we reached there, and we had no idea whether to take left or right. And there was nobody there to ask questions, there was no direction boards, nothing. And we decided, simple, toss a coin. If it comes heads, go right. If it comes tails, go left. And we tossed it, it came heads, we went right. And this driver, he was going so slow. We were telling, we need to reach fast, go fast. This guy just was not able to press the accelerator. He didn't have the confidence. After going about 10 kilometers, we met one man on the road. And we asked the man, how do you go here? This man said, you come 10 kilometers away, go back, take that other turn. And then the driver took a U-turn, 120 kilometers. Zooming. Why? Clarity. He had direction. He understood where he is going. All of us in our life are like these people. We're all going fast. But unfortunately, we don't know where we're going so fast. We're all having fast-paced life, intensely fast-paced life. Somebody stops you and asks you, why are you running so much? No, don't disturb me. I need to run. Arey Baba, first understand where you're running, why you're running. If you don't know where you're running, at some point you'll reach the 100th floor, the peak of success, and you realize the key of happiness is missing. And therefore, we would like to invite all of you to embark on a journey to help find that key to happiness, which is very much there in the Bhagavad-Gita. 3 years back, when we did Manthan for the first time, we had no programs going on in Margao literally. One small program with a few of our devotees doing. But we felt that the wisdom of the Gita, that golden brick, which is what India is known for, the wisdom from the ancient Vedic texts, which is so rich, which is so important, which is so beautiful. Why should only a few people have it? we wanted the whole of Margao to have access to it. And that's why we did Manthan 3 years back. And after that Manthan, we started inviting people for a course, which is what we are all going to invite you all for. And after that Manthan, about 200 people registered for that course. 250 people. And for the last 3 years, so many of them have really transformed their lives, and so many of them have really benefited from the wisdom of the Gita. They're living their normal lives. They are doing everything that all of us are doing. But the only difference is they no more react, but they're trying to live a life of responding. They no more understand that happiness is based on externals, but happiness is a state of mind. The Bhagavad-Gita and its wisdom has the ability and the power to transform a life completely. So, having said that, we would like to invite all of you to embark on this 3-day course, a 3-day seminar on the Bhagavad-Gita. We're going to cover 3 chapters of the Bhagavad-Gita, the first chapter, the second chapter, and the third chapter. The first chapter, which is day 1, we're going to talk about the battle of life. A lot of us have a fear of the unknown. We have the fear to face the most important challenges of our life. The Bhagavad Gita begins with Arjuna dealing with such a fear. Arjuna, in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, the first chapter of the Gita, is in a situation where he doesn't know what to do and what not to do. Indecision, which is what many of us face in our lives. The Bhagavad Gita begins with a question. A lot of us are like Arjuna. We are in quicksand. Quicksand means you're sinking it with it. You ask anyone, how are you? They'll say, I'm happy. But you scratch the surface a little bit. There's an ocean of misery inside. Everyone's heart, ocean of misery. But unfortunately, no one is ready to admit it. One time in a village, there was a circus announced. Massive circus. And big tents, and the advertisement said 25 paise circus. The whole village reached over there, first day, first show. Everyone wanted to attend 25 paise circus. The big line for the tickets. And the first guy, excited, paid 25 paise, went inside the circus. Empty tent, nothing inside. And he was confused. He said, what the hell? I paid 25 paise and came. Nothing inside. One huge wrestler came from the other direction. And this fellow said, start the circus, I'm getting late, I want to see the show. This wrestler came there and gave him one tight slap. And the wrestler asked him, for 25 paise, do you think you'll get anything? And you expect to see a full show here. He beat him black and blue. After he got beaten like anything, he came out. The second guy asked him, how was the circus? This fellow said, first class. Everyone should see circus at least once, you know. And then everyone in the village went in, got beaten so badly, nobody is ready to admit I got beaten. This is the reality of life. You ask anyone, how are you? They say, I'm fine, everything is fine. Arey, what? How do you deal with the ocean of misery inside you? Arjuna had the guts to say, I need help. Arjuna had the guts to say, I am confused. Arjuna had the guts to say, Krishna, give me direction. And the Bhagavad Gita, the first chapter, is about that. The second chapter is about Krishna trying to inspire him with the message of the Gita. The second chapter practically is a summary of the entire Gita. The second chapter is where Krishna is showing Arjuna direction. When Arjuna, completely collapses and he's crying and he's miserable and he takes shelter of Krishna, Krishna smiles. Only a smiling Krishna can help a crying Arjuna. Imagine, if Krishna also is crying, what do you do? In today's world, that's what happens. One guy went to a psychiatrist and he told the psychiatrist, I feel like committing suicide, what should I do? The psychiatrist said, I'll tell you what I do when I feel like committing suicide. One fellow is drowning in quicksand, he's helping another fellow who is drowning in the quicksand. So this guy said, whenever I feel like committing suicide, I go to this circus where there is one joker. And when I look at the act of this joker, I forget all my problems. I highly recommend you. You also go to the circus and look at this joker's act. You You'll forget all your problems. This guy said, I am the joker. So if you ask today, what is life today? In one sentence, it is smiling faces, crying hearts. Bhagavad-Gita is the solution to the ocean of misery that is lying in our hearts. That's what the second chapter of the Gita is. And the third chapter of the Gita is about action. It explains about the understanding of the path of karma, the law of karma, and deep understanding about how one should act in the world today in a way that one is in the world but not of the world. I can assure you all, if you have spent your 3 valuable evenings, just like that I've given us one evening today, and I'm sure after what you heard today, it made some difference in your life. It gave you some hope in your life. It gave you some direction in your life. If you are ready to give us 3 evenings, 7 to 9, that's all we're asking for. I can assure you these 3 evenings will be the most transformative evenings of your life. Think that these 3 evenings are your investment for developing your EQ and SQ. You spend enough time in the gym, you spend enough time in front of the mirror, you spend enough time in your jobs, you have spent enough time in your universities and educations. You've gained enough PQ and IQ. Now it's time to invest some time in developing your EQ and SQ. And I can assure you all, if you have spent these 3 evenings with us, developing your EQ and SQ, I can tell you your life will never be the same. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.